use it to mow all these weeds and stuff on the railroad and clean up this town, okay, I wonder if it's all right if we pay for the part, if John's gonna use it for our benefit.
It was $100, and I'm sorry if you don't approve it, but I got it today when I bought the camera.
Okay, then we don't have to approve
Okay.
Came out of your budget.
Came out of your budget. Oh, okay, well,
Like
John,
that.
okay,
I
so
just
when
gotta
can we
tear it apart
start?
and
When
get it
can we
put
do
back
this?
together.
it. You're going to tear it apart.
I'll tear it apart, too.
Really?
Hopefully it's not. But what happened was, is it set up, I used this thing when I was a kid, it was my grandfather's, but it's got, just a square shaft
Yeah.
for a PTO shaft, and it got water and it froze and split the outside half of it.
Right.
It's $100 for another piece of shaft, so.
And we gotta get a tire.
Oh, yeah, I gotta figure out.
We gotta get a tire for it, pretty expensive.
No, I mean, that's the right way to solve that problem,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you know.
And no, this is
But
gonna help
anyway.
us, because we're gonna do Sullivan Street down here where all that grew up, that was cut out.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's gonna be all sickled down with that too, so it will make the town look a lot better.
All right, so the next thing, well, I got.
Well, wait a minute, we gotta prove.
Oh, okay.
I'll make a motion to approve buying the
Whatever.
needed parts to repair the Sept part.
I'll second. I say, it's her second, Laura, let her second.
No, it ain't ridiculous.
Oh, he can even teach me how to run it.
No.
Oh.
Well, there's already probably gonna be cats with missing legs by the time.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Who seconded it?
Now what do you got to say?
Steve second.
Okay,
Scott?
No,
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Joyce?
yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Okay, now for my next project, okay. I think we need to hire a part-time person or whatever for the street department. Gary and John cannot keep doing all this stuff themselves, okay? I mean, we are spread so thin, and we're getting all these little, you know what I'm saying? And
Little what?
if we can find
what are you
some,
saying?
all these little notes, our little emails and everything about how we're not doing right by the community, but, and I don't think a lot of people understand too, okay, we have the prisoners, all right, that's free labor, 1 day a week, okay, but does anybody in here know that Gary feeds these out of his own pocket, you know? I don't wanna get you in trouble or anything, but I mean, I'm just saying, you know, they aren't really free, and they're hungry, because I think they get bologna sandwiches down there, don't they?
They don't
Yeah,
do real
yeah.
food.
But if there is any way that we can find some money anywhere, even if we would hire a couple days a week or something, if we can just get somebody ahead of this chipping business and get that pile taken care of, or, right now, John's gotta be doing, meters and, fire hydrants and all that kind of stuff, you know, and then he still has to do all the contracts and all the paving stuff, and I mean, you know.
Stuff.
There's a lot of stuff to do here.
And a lot of the sewer stuff.
And a lot of the sewer stuff,
And water.
and people just don't understand, you know, I mean, everything all of a sudden has been about the park, and we're just not getting all of our stuff done around here that needs to be done, and I for one, just think we need some help, so it's up to you guys.
What would their job be?
Everything.
Everything. You
You know,
know,
you're operating off of volunteers at the park. When a volunteer goes away, if we still own that property, we still gotta maintain it.
Right.
Mhm.
That brings us to another part of the whole thing, is that if we don't, we need to have the right equipment. I mean, the brush thing is a big issue. I mean, because I was out with the piles, like, I mean, you know, you got like half trees in there, and stuff like that. They're heavy, so you have to go through our chipper, but you still gotta manhandle that stuff, with the chippers and stuff like that. And maybe we need to look at, make sure we got some kind of equipment or something to manage this, because I mean, because people are used to now, let's pick up the brush and deal with the brush, you know, they got, you know.
Well, and you gotta look too, I mean, they have nowhere to put it if we say, no, we're shutting
Right.
down,
Yeah.
and that's not fair either.
All right, you know, so we gotta figure out.
We gotta figure out how to handle it and do it right.
Because, you know, the truth of the matter comes, if we have a big storm or something like that, I mean, we got all the town trees and all that
Have a
stuff.
big
So what?
bonfire.
You know, so you can end up with a hell of a mess real quick if you do all that stuff, so, you know. I mean, like I said, you use a lot of volunteers, but it still becomes,
well, the only bad part about using volunteers is the liability issue, where if we hire someone they would be covered under our insurance if anything did happen, that they would,
Well, the crossways guys they're covered by.
well, I
Crossways.
understand that part of
We
it,
have no,
you know.
they take care of any injuries, anything.
Yeah.
But like Gary says, we could probably get them 2 or 3 days a week, but he would go broke feeding the little suckers, you know, so.
I had to get a raise from my mayor's salary so I could try to pay for lunches.
So,
But no, I mean, and I don't mind doing the brush. In fact, I like doing it, so, and it's good to do it with the guys. But I think what Joyce is talking about too is, I mean, like, we can still go around on Thursdays and do this like we're doing now. But our main concern now is, we go on Thursdays, well, either Friday morning or Thursday afternoon after we're all done. They got it sitting out
Everybody
there
sets
in
it
the
out,
curb already.
yeah.
Right.
But then they get antsy, and then they bring it back here and throw it in the pile, and then it just keeps adding and adding and adding. So what we need to do is, we gotta find out a way that makes everybody happy. And I even had thought about, for one end of town, 1 week, if they're gonna do the trimming, and then the next week, the other end do it, where we can stay up with it. But,
But Don,
I'm just afraid nobody's listened so far that, I mean, we can have the best thing there, but ever, nobody sit there, why, we're gonna lose out, but we need to take care of people's brush. There's no doubt about it.
I think the other issue is that maybe we do have the John Deere tractor, you know, it's got the bucket stuff on there, but maybe if we buy the red chassis, we would have like the balls or graph, you know, brush, what how they call them, grapples or whatever. You know, maybe so they can get the brush out and separate it, so because the problem is once it gets pushed up or thrown up on there, and it gets tangled together,
Yeah, it's
it's
hard,
pretty nasty to work.
takes longer
You
to
know?
on.
You know, we've all been there and dealt with that. I mean, it's a lot easier to deal with one limb at a time and we run through the, you know, chipper as it is. So, I mean, we got a couple of ways to go, but I still think we need resources one way or another. So it's either gonna be equipment or manpower, but I think even if you get manpower, you still gotta have something
Because
to
I
deal
think
with
the
it.
last time that we did that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like $1,300 it cost us to
And
have
that
somebody
guy's-
come in with that
That
big.
guy actually sold that equipment, he don't even own it
But
anymore.
we had somebody a year ago come in.
That was after we had all those bad storms right in a row there.
Yeah.
Cause we'd no sooner get the brush cleaned up and there's trees down everywhere again a couple days later. We did have an outfit come in and it was like $1,300 or $1,400.
I
And they,
mean, we can't afford to do that every year.
Well, I guess we have money set aside in our tree, for dealing with trees or whatever, but we use, maybe look at losing that money to buy the right equipment so we can handle the brush with the trees, because we know we got the issues with the trees on Main Street and everything else, you know, the big old trees that are, you know, are ready to fall over or
But that
whatever.
money that's put aside for the trees is cutting them down.
Yeah, but I mean, so I'm just saying we need to figure out how we
And
can.
there isn't very much in there.
Right.
is there any money like in the contingency that we can hire somebody for a couple days a week? Because I really believe we need another person. I'm
we
sorry.
can probably come up with something for this year, but we really need to look ahead to next year because your budget's already finalized for
Right.
next year.
Right.
So we have to figure out,
Where we want to make some changes, what we gotta do.
you know, I don't know if you remember, Joyce, but you guys gave Dave and I permission to hire somebody part-time years ago, and nobody ever applied.
Well, yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
easier for, it's more lucrative for them to stay on government assistance than to work part-time.
Yeah.
What were the wages we were talking at the time?
I think back then it was like about $8 an hour.
I think it was
Yeah,
8 or 9
it's that, I mean, we talked quite a bit. Like I said, I don't think we had not one person in this friggin' town wanted to help us out.
It's hard.
We still don't.
Is
So,
it 8.10 for minimum wage now? What's it say?
It's 9 something.
Or is it, I don't think it's 9 yet. It's 8 something.
it's 8 something.
Back
Okay.
to
No, I think it's 8-10.
8,
Yeah,
10.
I'm pretty sure it's 8.
So what do you think? Should we try to find somebody for a couple days a week, or?
Well, if you already authorized it.
Well, that was a long time ago, you know, that could have went under, well, probably. I suppose there was I'm sure there was an ordinance back then, I suppose.
Well, I think we did probably just make it current.
Well, I
did
think we could make it current.
Make
and
it
do
current
now.
one, yeah.
Just advertise it, if that's what we decide
Yeah.
to do, and we got somebody, then we'll vote on it.
Yeah.
I know a kid that works his little butt off, but he's only about 12. I'm sure we could, and I'm telling you what, he is a worker, you know. But, you know, I mean, you could.
They gotta
but I mean,
be- they
I'm
gotta
just
be at
saying-
least
Well, yeah,
18.
I'm saying that, but I'm just saying, you know, if we could find somebody that, even a retired guy, maybe kinda a young retired guy, not an old retired guy. Oh, because we can't do
Okay,
that.
what's the matter with us?
Oh, I know, but I'll tell you what, Gary, works my butt some days, I'll tell you, so. Well, just think about
And
it.
the other thing you gotta think about, and I hope you have a real long run at your current job. But at some point, you're not gonna wanna do it.
Oh, yeah.
And the next person who takes that decision may not want to see that as part of their job. Now what are we gonna do?
That's true.
It'll be your turn.
That's a young man's job. I did a leave one time, I swore off of that.
Well, I think that's why we gotta look at two fronts. We gotta look at trying to get the help, we also gotta look at getting the proper tool so we can manage it. I mean, I think you gotta look at both ways, because I think if you go out and look at what's out there in those piles right now, it is a mess to deal with. I mean, it is, you know.
It is, and I'm surprised we didn't have it before. Like you say, we can't do anything about next year's budget. But when we're talking about 2017, we'll probably want to put that in the whole street fund.
Yeah, I think so.
This is what we're gonna do.
Well, I think we can, even though we have the budget structured, I think that we can have that discussion after the first year and say, look, you know, we decided that we have to make some change. I mean, we probably.
You can always appropriate unappropriated
Right.
funds, but, I mean, right now, we're kind of throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, I agree.
I just wanna make sure that
We think,
we're thinking ahead.
yeah. Well, I think what we need to do, really, we need to have some costs, what would it cost to buy, what do you think is the right equipment to make it easier for everybody? Then we gotta look at also how much money do we want to set aside for part-time help? You know, and just kind of get some numbers there so we can, as a council, look at, you know, what is the cost there? And, you know, can we justify it, does it make sense?
Chris, I think, is it SMS that has the deal that did Sullivan Street there? Did he
No,
make?
he rented it.
Oh, did he? But he charges $90 an hour, didn't
Probably.
Yeah, it was $600 to do so much.
Yeah.
he? Now we're gonna get the sickle, cut that stuff down so it's got away from us. It's really a shame.
We really need to do that same thing along Seneca Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, get the thing working, I mean, try and see how it works, what issues we got. I mean, you know, you gotta be careful of those things, but they do work pretty good.
But pretty much, John, you got to go ahead of buying any parts for that thing to get it going so we can do it.
Right. Before we get off that, I got a question, and this is more for Rick. I try and keep Rita as up to date as possible on who's in and out of town and whatnot. If we've got someone that's in town that's advertising that they have a business but has never come forth to pay taxes upon that, how do we go about dealing with that?
But if there's a business in town, that you're aware of, you can let Rita know.
I have.
And then this village has hired Rita to follow up with that, to determine if there are taxes owed, and if necessary,
I
to file an
understand that,
action.
but,
They can call them in. I think we've approved not only their sending letters out, but approved their sending subpoenas out. And so the ball is there with Rita to follow up.
but the person has denied the fact that they have a business.
Or any profits.
One thing I would ask Rita, I know they have access to a lot of the state filings by employers and things like that. I don't know if they have access to federal filings.
Just state.
Just state. You know, sometimes it's difficult. It's the Al Capone effect. It's quite an investigation. You know, I get a lot of drug dealers who come through and say they're unemployed. I said, no, you're employed, just illegally like Al Capone, and you're not declaring it. But catching them is one thing, and certainly the IRS is pretty lax on the follow-up. If you know, you're a small individual versus, you know, some nonprofit club.
Right.
So if there's evidence, I'm sure they'd always be willing to look at it, but, as far as following through with Uncle Sam, or it's hard to get moving on things. They don't have a lot of personnel.
So basically, after it's been denied, it just doesn't happen.
Sounds like it's pretty.
Right, you know, it's like getting them to.
Right, there's no real.
There's a huge underground economy, but, you know, they're not dealing with it. They're just dealing with the people who file.
Okay, that's fine. The other thing is I've got a bill here for a website that's not ours.
I don't know what you did with that, but.
Okay, it was sent to us, domain owner. It says Let'sFillOhio.com. And you got the terms, $45, $80, $180. Says that you want to renew it, it will be, you must renew your domain name to maintain exclusive rights to it on the web, and now is the time to transfer and renew your name from your current register to Internet Domain Name Services. Failure to renew your domain name by the expiration date, which is September 28, 2015, may result in a loss of your online identity, making it difficult for your customers or friends to locate you on the web. Advertising of domain registrations and renewals now allow the consumer the choice of registers, which when initially registering and also when renewing a domain name. Domain name holders are not obligated to renew their domain name with their current register or with Internet Domain Name Services. Review our prices and decide for yourself. You are under no obligation to pay the amount stated below unless you accept this offer. This notice is not a bill, it is rather an easy means of payment should you decide to switch your domain name registration to Internet Domain Name Services. So I guess we'll just have to see when September 28th comes if that thing's still on the internet.
It's just a mass mailing that they send for you guys to reserve.
No, this says they have it.
They send it to all businesses. I ran a website for a business in Fremont, and we got the same type of mailing. It makes it look like it's a bill, but it's not. It's basically just saying that they will reserve Betsville.com, but you guys obviously don't have that. So,
Yeah, but if somebody else is using it,
right, someone else, let's just say if someone else decided to create one, they
It's
would have,
already there.
they would have
it's
the
already here.
domain.
It's
It's already
being used.
being used.
Betsville.com?
BettsvilleOhio.com, yeah.
Who started it?
It's not us.
Read that, what was that? That was Betsville.com?
BettsvilleOhio.com.
I can't hear.
Doesn't have to have his.
I can try and see if I can find out who wrote it or whatever. I've got,
Well, we can do that, that's what we got for it for. That's what we pay him the big bucks for.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. You good as a computer?
What would you like me to do?
We wanna say who's got it and,
Why, are you saying you all want it?
No, we just don't need to do anything with it if we
Right.
don't care.
No, if it's not yours, you don't have to pay for it. So the only question is do we have to pay this?
no, that ain't the question.
it's not.
The
Yeah.
question is who has it and
Who
why are
has
they
it?
using it in our name?
That's the,
I can look at it for 30 seconds and find out who has a name on it. All you've got to do is inspect the webpage on the computer.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions for John?
We're done.
Okay, we'll go on to park now. I do have our revenue and what we lost or whatever for the 4th of July. We have expenses and income. Our expenses for the 4th of July was $789 for lifeguards, $640 for police, $14,000 for fireworks, $50 for our camping permit, for a total of $15,479. Our income from campsites, vendors, and gate was $6,870.10. Donations was $2,400 for a total of $9,270.10. So we lost $6,208.90. But actually, that isn't really too bad.
It was a nice
It was a
day.
super
Yeah.
display.
But how long do we go and continue to
Well,
lose?
we can't.
Okay, I have,
Well, let's just wait a minute. Okay. I've been approached by several people that want to buy it. And it's an option that we have. They would make it into campgrounds or, what all there. But we need to get it appraised and we need to really think this out, whether this is what we want to do. But I think since we've taken it over in 2009, I think every year we've lost some money on it. And I mean, it's like you can only throw so many bad money at it. I mean, if you're at home, how long can you keep going in the negative part and not, and something happens? I think it's a good thing to look at, and the way I understand it, we'll have several bidders on it. And it could be a good thing for the town too, because if they put the campsites in it and do swimming and everything, all it means is we get the taxes off of it and we'll make money and
Would you
do
put,
good
would you make
things.
them put sewage out there?
It's already there.
Each site, if they had campsite and all that?
Yeah,
Well,
Well,
not
I mean, that would-
necessarily.
build a whole campground.
Yeah. Well, here's the question, I've got to think this through a little bit. First of all, that, even though we